need to be very clear that it is next to impossible to determine how many structures have been lost due to the extreme fire behavior and the smoke and the danger of trying to make that assessment right now. There's potentially up to or around 100 structures, 100 homes that have been lost due to the Kingston fire.
It's devastating news for people in Conception Bay North.
The fire erupted into an inferno and pretty much cleaned out my community.
I don't want to drive down and see the devastation.
But even the worst situations can bring out the best in people as residents and volunteers step up to help save their communities.
Just to drop everything and come out and can help strangers, it's overwhelming.
It's been a breath of fresh air to see the communities, because it's not just one, of course, to see everyone come together and try to help out.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Here and Now. Tonight, we're focusing on fires and how thousands of lives are being affected. Ariana Kelland is co-hosting with me tonight. She's on the ground in Conception Bay North. She spent the day speaking with firefighters and evacuees. So Ariana, what's the latest on the fire?
Well, Carolyn, I am here in Carbonear tonight, giving you guys a little bit of a different look. So behind me, you'll see some RVs, some trucks, and that's where some people have actually been living. Some people have decided not to stay at the evacuation center that's in front of me here at Carbonear Academy, but they're close enough to get a couple of meals. But it has been rough, and today was not the news that they were hoping for, expecting it, but not what they were hoping for. This Kingston fire has now grown over 8,000 hectares, and news this morning from the Premier that it has reached the community of Northern Bay, another community now in Conception Bay North that has been affected by these fires. And just within the last hour or so, we did hear that there's an evacuation advisory on the other end in Job's Cove, and we will get to that in a little bit. But first, let's take a listen to how Premier John Hogan delivered the news this morning.
And I need to be very clear that it is next to impossible to determine how many structures have been lost due to the extreme fire behavior and the smoke and the danger of trying to make that assessment right now. So, of course, when we get through this, we will be able to accurately assess what has been damaged and what has been lost in these communities. But I know people are continuing to ask. So the number right now, to a best approximation, is that there's potentially up to or around 100 structures, 100 homes that have been lost due to the Kingston fire.
100 homes. It's, as I said, it's something that I think a lot of people expected, didn't want to hear. And you heard the Premier there talking about the need that people have here. They want to know, are their houses still standing? There is a lot of frustration here tonight from people who believe that that information can be coming forward from government sooner, that it should be coming forward from government. And there is a lot of frustration about communication, a lot of gratitude that they are safe, but a lot of questions that they feel have not been answered. Not even about their own homes, but about their communities. I spoke with people today who are wondering, will I have a Canada Post office to go to when I go back? Will there be a school for me to send my children? What do you know about your property, your home?
Very little, only word of mouth from friends, volunteer firefighters, no concrete answers. The government has been very standoffish in giving us any answers, but all the people in around my community are very hopeful that they have a home to go back to. Unfortunately, with the way the wind was blowing that day, when they pulled the water bombers to attack Paddy's Pond, the fire erupted into an inferno and pretty much cleaned out my community. I'm astonished that people can get on television and say it's unfortunate.
You're talking about the Premier's comment.
I'm talking about the Premier's comment. I have 3 children, myself, a girlfriend and her daughter, and right now we're homeless.
We were told our houses were gone, and then they weren't. So people are on edge. They just want answers. It's been 10 days, and we deserve answers. You know, it's heartbreaking, but we like to know so we can move on and just have a fresh start. But the people of North Shore deserve that. And I felt that because of Paddy's Pond, we were left behind. You know, our water bombers were taken out of it. They didn't show up till 11 in the morning, while Paddy's Pond had them 6:15 a.m. in the morning. We're just as important. You know, we matter. whether my house is gone or not. I just do not want to return to the North Shore. I don't want to drive down and see the devastation. And that's what it is, devastation. Premier Hogan says it was unfortunate. No, that's not true. It's devastating to the people. It's more than just a house, yeah. It's memories, precious memories. And people say it's just a building. It can be replaced. It's more than a building. It's love, it's laughter, it's good times, it's cherished moments.
And some of the people who these evacuees have been leaning on are members of the RCMP because they are beyond the line. They are where the public has been kicked out of. They're seeing some of this devastation. They have been questioned by people here. Is my house still standing? What do the communities look like? And I spoke about that a little bit earlier when I visited the RCMP detachment in Harbour Grace, and I spoke with Inspector Adam Palmer.
I don't think it's any secret that many of those communities, it's devastating. There's parts that are completely gone, and there's other parts that seem unfazed. As far as whose house or what, I don't know, but the officials will be able to communicate that and hopefully get the right information through the official channels.
Early on with this most latest fire, the RCMP were criticized for handling previous fires in the community and in this area. There was some talk about whether or not this was arson. What can you tell me about the investigation into the cause of the fires?
So we have our major crimes team and our general investigation section from the East District here are fully engaged. We are treating it as a criminal investigation. They're exploring all avenues. I understand the frustration and the criticism. And unfortunately, the investigations, they do take time, and given the magnitude of this fire, it's a very complex investigation that requires a lot of individual effort.
We just heard within the last 2 hours or so that there is a new piece of information to pass along to you, that there is an evacuation advisory for the community of Job's Cove, and that is where Here and Now's Henrika Wilhelm is tonight. Henrika, what can you tell me about what's happening there?
Well, currently there's a lot of activity here. We have first responders rushing by. We have helicopters in the air. You mentioned it, this latest evacuation alert for this community now too. And that's maybe not surprising because when you look at the fact that you can see this roadblock there in the background behind me, but only about 10 minutes ago you could not see it because the entire area was engulfed in smoke. There was ash falling from the sky. And so now, of course, for residents here, their homes, their livelihoods are top of mind, but so is the health and safety of the firefighters working there behind me, trying to stop that fire from spreading any farther. And so I spoke with some volunteers earlier today in Old Perlican who are trying their best to make their lives and their days on the front lines a little bit easier.
Where am I going? This side.
The answer: meals for hungry first responders battling the Kingston fire around the clock.
When they see the truck pull up, I think you see the smiles because they know it's a warm meal, and that's something we strived on, is to try to make sure the meal gets to them warm. So, I mean, let's be honest, after a while you get sick of eating cold sandwiches.
They also bring in coolers with ice from local fish plants, only some of many businesses collaborating in the efforts.
We will have someone arrange to meet you in like 45 minutes.
To make sure hunger and thirst are the least of the firefighters' concerns.
So today there was a delivery of mac and cheese and a burrito and rice. There's been chicken burgers, there's been hamburgers, all sorts of different food, because we're lucky the variety of food from the different food places around here is amazing.
It all started with a call from Tracy Scott, the wife of the assistant chief of the North Shore Fire Department, concerned that first responders couldn't take long enough breaks to get meals at the local command center.
Her husband was coming out saying they were hungry, and her son was saying, you know, we're in there, we're hungry, and they were packing snacks and that, and then, let's be honest, Joe Louis only goes so far.
Scott also called for drink donations. This and much more is the result. The response from businesses and residents alike, unbelievable, they say.
We've had donations come all across the island. We've had messages to our Facebook page from BC and everywhere in between.
Foot and Oliver say it's the least they can do for the people that risk their lives to protect the communities here. And of course, what the region needs most is some rain. So Ashley, what are the chances that they're going to get that?
Well, the chances are certainly increasing over the next 24 hours, but today we did see a few showers in and around the Avalon, nothing significant by any means, so we're seeing some green show up. But the green that you're seeing here is actually the smoke from the Kingston fire with those southwesterly winds, definitely seeing things kick up for sure. But if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that we do have some more shower activity more to the west, even some thunderstorms associated with this. But the best shower chances that will come for the Avalon will be because of this front. That is going to bring the potential for some heavy rain, hopefully, along with, the chance, unfortunately, of some thunderstorms right along with it. But as we look ahead to the future tracker, we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms, particularly for the western portion, or the southeastern portion of Labrador, rather, and then the western portion of the island. That will be through tomorrow morning. We'll see some more shower activity, again, hopefully over the fire through central, and potentially some thunderstorms. Again, hopefully it doesn't spark anything else. But as we head into the afternoon tomorrow and then evening, that will be the best chance of some showers for the east. Now, some of these showers could be heavy at times, but as you can see, really depends on where they fall. But we could see upwards of 20, maybe even 30 millimeters with some of these systems or some of these thunderstorms. But again, hopefully they fall over the fires.
Yes, fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Ashley. Now to the Paddy's Pond fire. It's being held to about 300 hectares. The evacuation order for residents in the Three Island Pond area of Paradise remains in place. Here now's Mark Quinn is live on the scene. So Mark, what's the status of that fire?
Well, Carolyn, this fire is still out of control. We've watched people in these planes pounding this fire with water all day, and we got some real insight into what they're doing here all day and all night.
When the sun sets and water bombers like these land for the night, drones like this take to the sky. They're equipped with video and thermal cameras.
And they are actually mapping the Paddy's Pond fire and the Kingston fire, and then in the morning we can relay that data back through the Provincial Emergency Operations Centre to provide early morning data to where the hotspots are, where they need to relay assets.
Here's some of what they see. The white spots are places where the temperature is more than 100 degrees Celsius. The red areas are even hotter. Every night, these images are stitched together to give water bombers a precise map of exactly where they should focus their efforts. It's just some of the invaluable work being done by more than 30 search and rescue crews across the province.
We rolled right into wildfires in Kingston, and we've been active in the Holyrood fire and the Paddy's Pond fire ever since.
This is one of the areas firefighters are trying to protect. The evacuated area of Paradise is on the other side of this pond. At midday, the wind was blowing right over the fire and pushing the smoke here. That's concerning for the mayor of Paradise.
It's still listed as out of control, and we're standing here on Topsail Pond, or just off of Topsail Pond, and the winds are significant. And out of the south, and this was the concern on Tuesday night when the Three Island Pond area was evacuated.
For the hundreds of people forced to evacuate their homes and thousands more who've been told to be ready to evacuate, it's a difficult time.
Heightened concern, anxiety, obviously wondering when they can get back into their homes, but the fire is still listed as out of control.
As they wait and watch for updates, water bombers from this province and across the country are pounding hotspots with water. A pilot told us these pilots are highly skilled, so good they can safely do exactly what pilots are told not to do in training. They're flying low with heavy loads over fire. Yesterday, crews built this fire break to keep the flames from jumping peacekeepers' way. And over here, where planes and helicopters are housed in hangars, hundreds of liters of fuel was removed, and about a dozen float planes were permitted to taxi across the pond to a safer spot.
So it's still out of control and it's very windy, but there is a bit of good news. The part of the Trans-Canada Highway that was closed because of this Paddy's Pond fire has reopened. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm Ariana Kelland, live tonight in Carbonear. And of course, wildfires are incredibly stressful for evacuees, incredibly stressful for firefighters who are fighting this on the ground and in the air. But it's also very, very stressful for families of these firefighters. And I met one of those families today, the Powells. They are newlyweds, and it turns out that they got married earlier this month, a day before Max Powell, a firefighter, saw some smoke in the air and got a call that he would have to go fight the wildfires. You got married recently. Tell me a little bit about what happened, what you heard about the day of your wedding that was not as planned.
We got married August 2nd, and the day after, my husband could see some smoke, and it just so happened that later that night at our gift opening, he got the call that the Kingston fire had started. And so then later that night, he was called to go to that with his team of volunteer firefighters.
Yeah. So your new husband is a firefighter.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It's his greatest passion. If he wasn't a firefighter, I don't know what he would be doing. Like, he loves it so much, and he just always wants to help people.
So he has been fighting the fire since basically the day after your wedding.
Yeah.
This is not the honeymoon that you had envisioned, I assume.
No, it's not the honeymoon that I imagined, but everything about our relationship has been unexpected, like from meeting in a cabin in the middle of the woods to being long distance to the surprise of our son. So it was just right that something unexpected happened surrounding our wedding.
Your son's a married man now, but he's still your baby. How do you feel about what he's doing for the province? I guess, how do you feel about that, and also the worry that you must have as a mother?
Well, there's an overwhelming sense of pride. The concerns and the worries are kind of put at bay, knowing that he's well trained, his crew are together, and they're, all helping each other out. And, this is their passion. This is what they love to do. I'm really proud of my new daughter-in-law as well. She's been a part of our family since the moment she walked in. But the maturity and the understanding and the commitment to, see your family out the door every morning is very, very touching.
You have a child, and I guess you're having to explain that Daddy's gone to fight the fire. How do you have that conversation? And how old is your child?
He just turned 2 in July. I try to keep it simple with him. I tell him that Daddy's helping people and that he's fighting big fires. And every morning when his daddy leaves, he says, "Hot, Daddy?" And that's his way of telling me that Daddy's going to fight the fires. And I just reassure him that Daddy is fighting fire, but he is safe, and that he loves him, and that he will always come home to us. Every day he leaves, I'm just so in awe of the person that I married. He's every quality that I would have wanted in a partner. He's humble, and he's brave, and he's committed, and he's the type of person that shows his love and commitment not through words but through actions. He's not going to sit around and watch things happen. He wants to go out and he wants to help, and that is how he's showing people that he loves and is committed to this community. And so many other people are doing exactly what he's doing. Like the other volunteer firefighters or the people that are in his crew are doing the same things. They're leaving their families to help other people, and I think it's just amazing, and I'm honored to know every single person in the volunteer fire department here.
And I'll give you the last word, Michelle.
I'm so incredibly proud of him, his groomsmen, who are many volunteer firefighters, to the community, to everybody. It's just, there's such a big outreach of pride. But the fact that he's fine, it's very touching.
Ashley, the forecast is so important to so many people right now, and I know a lot of attention is being paid to the hot temperatures on the island, particularly because of the wildfires, but it's also been very hot in Labrador.
Yeah, it has. And in fact, it's been hot enough to fry an egg. I'm sure you've heard that before, but Renee shared this photo with me and I thought it was so interesting because I've certainly heard about it before where you put something like a cast iron pan or something in your car and then you put a lid on it and see if you can fry an egg. Well, she did. It took a couple of hours, but overall, with those temperatures at 36 degrees in the afternoon, even warmer in the car, I think she said it was about 50 degrees. It did. It fried the egg. So I wonder if she ate it. I should have asked her that. But temperatures, different story today. Take a look at this. 17 degrees colder than it was at this time yesterday in Cartwright, 10 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay. And even for the west coast of the island right now, Corner Brook, 11 degrees colder. Same thing for, 10 degrees colder for Deer Lake right now. So the reason for this drop in temperatures is a front that is going to bring relief across the province. In fact, Environment Canada has dropped those heat warnings for now, and really in the long range, I don't see that heat returning. But if we take a look at those temperatures now, so like I said, 17 degrees in Cartwright, still 26 degrees in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So it's still hot on a normal day, but then we've got those temperatures across the island. Anywhere from about 24 degrees in St. John's to 27 in Badger, and those humidex values still quite high. 33 is what it's feeling like right now in Badger. So we are going to see some relief from that heat as we see that front move through, but the winds right now are southerly. So Environment Canada does still have a couple of alerts. The air quality alert for the northern portion of the Avalon because of the Kingston fire, and then an air quality statement because of the Martin Lake fire through Central. So we're seeing those southerly winds push the smoke towards the Grand Falls, Windsor area and the Bay of Exploits, and then again the air quality alert from the two fires that are burning across the Avalon. Taking a look at what's happening right now, there are some showers that are working their way towards Central, so hopefully they do fall over the Martin Lake fire. Some of these are sparking some lightning, or some of these have some lightning strikes in them. Hopefully that doesn't spark anything else. But for now, we are dealing with those showers. Also, some thunderstorms right now just north of Cartwright. So that risk is going to continue as we head through the night tonight. But most of these showers at the moment are fairly heavy. So that is certainly good news. The other thing that I'm watching or keeping my eye on is Tropical Storm Arson. At the moment, it is topping out at about 110 kilometers per hour. As we head through the next couple of days, this system is actually going to intensify, become, at this point, forecast to become a major hurricane by the time we get to the weekend, and then it's going to make a turn north, which means the Arson will likely be in the Atlantic Canadian waters, where at this point we have no idea. There is still at least a week away before we do see anything from this system, if we do at all. So it's just something to keep on your radar over the next little bit. Temperatures as we head through the night tonight, again, are going to stay quite mild. We're talking about overnight lows still between 16 and 18 degrees. Those winds are going to stay up as well. Look at that drop in temperatures, 5 degrees tonight in Lab City. And then as we take a look at those showers moving through tomorrow, again, or through the overnight rather, hopefully we will see some of those heavier showers move through Central and then eventually to the Avalon as we head into tomorrow afternoon. But the temperatures are going to be very different. Only in the low 20s for most. We're still going to hang on to high temperatures in the east and St. John's, about 28 degrees. Much different story though up across Labrador. And as we know, people in Conception Bay North are watching the forecast closely as the wildfire continues to burn. So let's go back to Ariana Kelland, who is live in Carbonear tonight. So Ariana, who do you have with you?
Thanks, Ashley. And I will say that on the way out here today, we did get a little sprinkling of rain. Stopped not at all near what the people here were hoping for, but I am standing by with Councillor Sue Rose, and she has been on the Town Council of Small Point, Broad Cove, Blackhead, Adams Cove for 8 years now. And today you had some hard news to deliver. You had an update. Can you tell us what that update was from your town?
Well, previously to the day, we just thought we lost 9 homes. And today our mayor and deputy mayor went down and just, we now have lost 33 homes. I'm just got such a heavy heart today. I can't even tell you. I've never ever had to tell someone that their home was gone. As you know, we are a very unique community in Canada because we have had 12 fires since May the 7th. We've had a couple of families that experienced the fire May the 7th, maybe lost their brand new garage, maybe lost some things, their sheds or this, and now they've lost everything. So I have no words. I mean, when you're telling someone that we're volunteers. Yes, I've got a psych degree and I used to be a special education teacher, but this has ripped my heart out every time, and we have families that do not have insurance. I think I mentioned to you earlier that during the May the 7th evacuation, Adams Cove was evacuated. At that time we lost 12 homes, so add that on to the 33. We're getting close to 50. I'm sorry, I just needed to get rid of that.
That's okay.
Yeah, when you're telling someone that they've lost everything that they've worked for, but when you're telling someone that they've lost everything that they've worked for, and it's a family home that they've lived in for like 70, 80, 90 years, and passed on from generation, and some of them have no insurance. Yeah. What are they going to do? Let's talk about so much loss. We have been, I guess I'm going to say it, we've been terrorized. We've been predicting the day, the wind, and we knew that fires were going to occur. Again, 12 fires. We've had families. I haven't been on vacation. I would usually go to the West Coast and visit my family members over there. I was afraid to leave. All of us were afraid to leave. We were afraid to leave to go to St. John's unless we had someone watching our home, if we had a dog or a cat, to remove the animals. We're exhausted. We have no timeline of return. And this is not including Kingston. This is just my community. Kingston is not part of the count. And the homes, 33 now, this fire, with 12 from the last one, that's not including the sheds and the garages and the ATVs and the tractors. On and on it goes. So I'm just really devastated. I don't know what to say anymore.
Sue, we can tell that you're almost shell-shocked here, and part of that is because you've had to deliver this news. How have you been delivering it, and what has the reaction been?
Well, as you know, some people were finding out through different ways, and I feel really sorry for them because for me, I've been finding people, and we have a list, and we've got the mayor and the deputy mayor and another councillor and our town clerk calling people, and I'm finding people here at the school, and we have a room that we go in, and they know as soon as I come to them that the news is not good. And we're going to need a lot of help, and I'm hoping that both the provincial and the federal government, Mark Carney made a post, I'm believing that he's going to be there for us, and again, we're not like any other community. Yes, there's a lot of fires across Canada. I can't think of another community where we've had 12, where we've had teams of people going out. We started our own investigation after May the 7th. And so as soon as we smelt smoke, we had about 30, 40 people heading out into the different trail areas so we could gather pictures and things like that. So we've been collecting evidence for a long time. We do know that there's an arsonist. We do know that it's terrorized the town. And now look where we are. We have I don't even know what we're going back to. What are we going back to? My house is okay. I'm on the coast. Yet I've just, 4 of the people today that lost their homes are dear, dear friends of mine. I can't tell you their names. They're friends of yours. I can say that. And they're devastated. There's things that are lost that can never be replaced. And I had literally 5 minutes to leave, like everyone else.
Sue, I'm so sorry that this was your day today, that this has been the last couple of months for you, but I do appreciate you being here with us on Here and Now tonight to deliver this news.
Thanks for your interest. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, back here in St. John's, the RNC says a man is facing charges for intentionally setting brush fires in the downtown area. In a 2-hour period on Tuesday, the St. John's Regional Fire Department responded to several brush fires in downtown St. John's within blocks of one another. Fortunately, there were no injuries and no structural damage. Police have now arrested a 20-year-old man. He appeared in court today to face criminal charges of arson with disregard of human life. Meantime, Premier Hogan says the man will be fined $150,000 for breaking the fire ban.
Welcome back to Here and Now. I'm Ariana Kelland, back live again here from Carbonear. And you know, one of the things that we wanted to show you on the show tonight were some of the firefighters who are in fighting the Kingston wildfires. But of course, they're a bit busy. They've been fighting the fires now for nearly 2 weeks. But what happens back here in these communities is that there are firefighters who are picking up all of these communities that now have no coverage. And one of those departments is in Spaniards Bay. We went to the Spaniards Bay Fire Hall earlier today, and they had just had a close call themselves. As we told you on the news earlier this week, fire did break out just over the hill behind the Spaniards Bay Fire Hall. Thankfully, they did put that fire out, but as they explained to me today, they have been flat out while the Kingston fire has been ongoing.
It's such a relief to see this with the rain today. As you know, we just had a big fire behind our fire hall. Like, it's all emotional when I'm talking. And it's a big relief for all volunteers through Newfoundland and Labrador.
Can you explain what the last couple of weeks have been like for you and your guys here?
The last few weeks we've been on edge, and we've been running back and forth down the shore with some supplies as people are dropping off donations and all that stuff to us as well. We're also on standby for all of our neighbouring fire departments. So through the Concepcion Bay North area, we got a nice bit of gear left to fight anything that happens in our town.
What has this year been like in comparison to previous years?
Sleepless nights. Wait and expect that pager to go off any time because of grass fire or anything.
And how often does your pager go off?
Constantly. With people smelling smoke, everyone smells smoke, thinks it's a fire, right?
And what are people feeling in the community? Are people scared? I know you're getting some calls for things. People are thinking it's a fire and it's not a fire.
Everyone's nervous. Everyone's nervous. Since that fire up there now, like everybody is, you know, just not relaxing. They're just hoping nothing happens anymore to any community, right?
The provincial government has said that they are going to compensate volunteer firefighters now. What did you make of that announcement?
I think that's a good announcement, right? I mean, we can almost say do the same thing as paid firefighters do, right? And nice for the government to come up with something for each volunteer.
You said to me earlier, you said that the money is nice, but you don't do it for the money, of course, because you're volunteers. Yeah. Can you tell me about the interaction you had at the store? And I guess it kind of puts into perspective why you do this to begin with.
I was over there at a convenience store there, and I had a couple of things picked up. And this gentleman come in, and he said, "I'll get that for you." I said, "No, that's fine." He said, "Listen, I appreciate everything you do. I'll get that for you." I said, "No, that's fine." He said, "Well, hold on now."
There's no better for that.
He said, "Let me get one item." I said, "Okay, you can get one item from it." So he bought that one item, and he shook my hand. He said, "Good job, by all."
You know, I come in, I'm seeing you now. You got some soot on your face. You've been going flat out. You're a volunteer. Why do you do it?
I joined the year Dad was born. So I just joined I'm going to be a part of the community, protect the community. You know what I mean? Not only its family, but everyone in it. I knew it was a tough job, like, to volunteer to it. I didn't realize it was going to be this intense, you know what I mean? Especially with the forest fires and that now this year.
How proud are you of the men here beside you and the men you have or women you have in your fire station?
Oh my God, extremely proud. Like, to give up everything and come to these calls. You know, we don't know what we're facing when the pager goes off. And we don't know what we're seeing even when it comes to motor vehicle accidents and stuff. And for these guys just to drop everything and come out and can help strangers, it's overwhelming for sure.
That's a fine group of fellas there, and I'm telling you, they came back from a fire just as we were getting there, had just put out a fire. They were getting themselves cleaned off. And Carolyn, that is kind of the through line for all of this, and how all, I guess, Newfoundland and Labrador stories have this element of just community and goodness, and that's what we encountered today at the Spaniards Bay Fire Hall.
And Ariana, you certainly highlighted those stories of kindness and goodness, and also some of the challenges that people in that area are facing. Thank you so much for this wonderful reporting tonight. It's great to have you out there. Thanks so much. Well, we have an update now. The Department of Forestry has just released an update on the Kingston and Paddy's Pond fire. Now, it says crews faced some challenging conditions today. Low visibility due to cloud cover and smoke prevented aircraft from working on both fires early this morning, and this meant the Paddy's Pond fire had time to flare up and threaten Conception Bay South. And the aircrafts on the Kingston fire were limited to areas away from the head of the fire near Northern Bay. Now, this evening, 2 water bombers and the high-capacity helicopter are working on the Kingston fire, and 2 water bombers are stabilizing the Paddy's Pond fire. So this news comes as volunteer fire departments say their gear, the gear that they're begging for, they're using is bogging them down. They're hoping the province will step up. Ryan Cook reports.
In Conception Bay North, it's all hands on deck to fight an out-of-control wildfire that's destroyed about 100 structures. On the other side of Newfoundland, volunteer firefighters in Deer Lake knocked down a brush fire in a wooded area this week, narrowly avoiding a similar disaster.
In this case, it's located close to the Trans-Canada and a lot of residential areas, so potentially could be catastrophic.
Even that minor situation highlighted some flaws. This is what most fire departments in this province are equipped to handle. Trucks reaching high places, but not designed to go over woods roads. Bunker suits designed for keeping flames out, but not for trekking through the forest in the summer. While volunteer firefighters are keen to answer the call, Rousel says most are ill-equipped to handle the growing demand of wildfires.
We can do some of it, but with the restrictions of bunker gear rather than wall-land gear. Wall-land gear is a lightweight compared to the bunker gear, so there's definitely restrictions put upon us.
The situation led the Deer Lake Department to issue a plea on Facebook this week. The worst part about these types of fires is that our daily firefighting equipment is our only option. If a fire gets away from us in the woods, our equipment is rendered useless. In Spaniards Bay, firefighters know the struggle. The department has been on standby for the Conception Bay North fire and used bunker gear to knock down a brush fire in their own community on Tuesday.
It's fine for structure fires. It's not meant for wildfires, as this gear is quite heavy. It's 30 to 40 pounds a set. That's not including your SCBA and all that stuff. Regards of wildfighting gear, it's just some coveralls and stuff, and this stuff is just way too heavy. Everybody's getting overcome with heat.
Spaniards Bay is looking at getting fire retardant coveralls, but at $6,000 for a set, it's half their annual gear budget. The province provided $730,000 last year to cost-share volunteer firefighting equipment, but this summer has brought an inferno of change. 216 wildfires so far this season, more than double the province's previous 5-year average. Premier John Hogan touched on the topic at a press briefing in St. John's Thursday morning.
They didn't sign up to fight wildfires, but they're doing it anyways. We will continually have to reassess and continually assess going forward what risk the province is at for future wildfires and what equipment is needed. And if more equipment is needed, more gear is needed, then yeah, we will fund that.
Hogan says the changes won't come in the short term, meaning some departments will continue to shoulder a heavy load for the time being. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
Now, the multiple wildfires are also causing issues on the west coast. The paper mill in Corner Brook has to shut down operations. The CBC's Colleen Connors reports.
Well, things are already looking really quiet in Corner Brook. I know forest operations stopped on August 9th, but starting tomorrow, mill operations will be paused behind me for the next 3 weeks. The woodyard looks empty. Wildfire restrictions and suspended harvesting permits by the province have stopped any cutting or hauling in the sun and heat. And now, starting Friday, mill operations will be temporarily suspended.
You know, this is something that has to happen. And without wood and fiber, we don't have paper. So I think that Kruger is prepared for this. I know that they're scrambling now to make sure that they can get orders to their customers. But I understand this is a temporary measure. It's not something long-term. It's unfortunate, but you know what? We're a big province, but we're all in the same boat in some ways.
There are currently no wildfires burning on the West Coast. Kruger issued a statement saying the shutdown aligns with the province's emergency measures, and it's a way to help keep communities safe during a time when there is such a high risk of a fire. No one with the company would do an interview with CBC. This isn't the first time the mill has faced an operation pause or shutdown. Last year, it closed for repairs. In 2023, it closed for a week due to the dwindling newsprint markets. It's not clear if the hundreds of employees who work at the mill will be paid during this shutdown.
It is the cornerstone of our existence here, 100 years of the mill running in Corner Brook. So it is a big part of our economy, and I mean, if I have my way, it'll be a big part of our economy for decades and decades to come. So it is a huge blow anytime we have something like this, but I'm confident they'll be able to weather and navigate this, again, another challenge.
Kruger plans on investing $700 million here to stabilize the plant and shift to chip production, a shift that could help pay back a $110 million loan it signed with government over a decade ago. But for now, the focus is on following the province's bans and waiting out this hot, dry weather. While there is some rain forecasted, certainly not enough, even though I did feel a couple of drips here on the West Coast today. Kruger says that they will be closed for approximately 3 weeks and monitor the situation as it evolves. Colleen Connor, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, you know, hopefully we see the rain for a good chunk of the island portion of the province, even up across Labrador as we head through tomorrow. But once that front moves through, which will be offshore by the time we get into the evening on Friday, those temperatures in behind there are certainly going to drop. So your Saturday is going to be chilly, certainly compared to what we've been seeing for the last almost 2 weeks now. We've been seeing those warm temperatures. We will see some more shower activity though for Lab West. The risk of some thunderstorms there as well. This will likely, the risk is very slight, but still a chance there through the day. But across the island, we will see things clear out eventually as we get into the afternoon. But take a look at those temperatures. 20 degrees in Corner Brook. That should be where we see the warmest temperatures, even along the south coast. But temperatures will be in the teens. That is significantly colder than we've been seeing, nearly 20 degrees colder, in fact, through Central. And then Labrador, upper teens, low 20s will be the story for you, other than, again, those showers for those of you in Lab West on Saturday. Now, as we head into the evening hours and then into Sunday morning, a lot more unsettled weather, so more shower chances for most of you across Labrador. And then we will see this again move across the island as we head into early Monday. So some more shower chances will come. Certainly good news. But your temperatures are going to start to rebound a little bit on Sunday. Low 20s for the most part, some sunshine to start the day, but in the east around the Avalon, temperatures will stay cool. Certainly good news for firefighting, but there will be some sunshine. And then for Labrador, overall, your temperatures will do a little bit of a dip again in the west, where you'll sit around 11 degrees. Otherwise, we're looking at upper teens and low 20s. Now, the long range forecast after Sunday, again, Monday does look a little bit unsettled. Temperatures will bump up to about the 20-degree mark, so some shower chances there. Same thing into Tuesday with a temperature around 18 degrees. So definitely more manageable as far as those temperatures go, and a lot more unsettled. So that's certainly good news there. For central Newfoundland, you are looking at some showers late on Monday, continuing into Tuesday, upper teens, low 20s, and then much cooler in western Newfoundland by the time you get into next week, only in the teens as your daytime highs. Now for Labrador, you're looking at temperatures in the teens as well. And yeah, that's it. Our weather photo of the day today is taken in Port Hope Simpson. Great shot of some bake apples there. Thank you for that. Any weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, that's a beautiful photo. Irene, thank you so much. And thank you once again to Ariana Calland out in C.B.N. tonight. Some fabulous coverage, some heartwarming stories and heartbreaking stories for sure. Our coverage will continue. Thanks so much for watching.
Good night.